on, everybody? I'm Can't Kill Dill, lover of all things morbid, macabre, and horrific. If you feel like we have that in common, then maybe you should lure the like button back to your apartment and eat him.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
I'm just gonna bash your brains.
Feel the rosy air.
Groovy.
So I watched Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story on Netflix. Ryan Murphy and Evan Peters team up again. This time they deliver a crazy retelling of the Jeffrey Dahmer story. At least that's how it was sold to me. This is a lot more than that. You know, I kind of went into this not knowing a fucking thing about what this series was exactly. I actually thought it was a movie. I didn't look into it. I wasn't keeping tabs on it at all. I've heard the Jeffrey Dahmer story before. I'm not super into, like, you know, real life serial killers and such, but I'm a huge fan of Ryan Murphy and I'm a big fan of Evan Peters. So seeing them doing something like this together again, I knew I was gonna watch it. Totally thought it was a movie and then saw that it was episode 1 out of 10. I was like, oh shit. So I watched it all. I think all the directors did a really good job for each episode. I think they all, you know, the team of directors that were hired for this, I thought they did a pretty damn good job myself. This show does not shy away from the brutality that Jeffrey Dahmer had. It was definitely, I could see why some people maybe couldn't watch it. I've been seeing that kind of pop up online, people not being able to finish these episodes and stuff. You know, normally when you read headlines like that or whatever, it's kind of easy to make fun of, but this is a different kind of gruesome because this shit happened to people. This, you know, this is a true story. You know, I was just a baby when he, like, died, you know, but I grew up hearing the story from, you know, like my stepdad and stuff. So it's kind of gruesome. It brings a different level to this, and it's understandable how those types of headlines might actually bear some real weight. People coming to terms with, oh my god, this shit really happened to these poor dudes. Like, it's definitely a different vibe going into this than, you know, your average sort of like horror show. It's not, you know, this isn't fiction. And so there's a different tone right from the get-go. You know, the first episode really opens up and, you know, he's like chopping up the body in his apartment. This is kind of when the story, literally right from the beginning, lets you know, and as it goes, it kind of unveils that really I feel like Glenda Cleveland is sort of the focus of this series in a way. It's her story in full being told. Like, yes, it is Jeffrey Dahmer's perspective, but Glenda Cleveland, played by Niecy Nash, fantastically, by the way. Like, fuck, dude, I only know her pretty much from, you know, stuff like Reno 911, you know. I did not know that she was, like, packing such talent because, damn, she was really fucking good. If this series did anything, I feel like it did a good job of sort of revealing to us just how bad things were at this time. Like I said, Glenda Cleveland's story is one that I was pretty unfamiliar with in general too. I'm sure people who like deep dive into these serial killers and what happened, like, know all this stuff. I'm not one of those people, so for people like me, I think it did a good job of sort of like revealing everything that, you know, average people may not really know about. Just to think that it was so fucking bad that those asshole cops, like, literally gave that 14-year-old boy back to him. What the fuck? So if anything, Glenda Cleveland, you know, started a movement, you know. She made noise, thankfully, and she just didn't stop making noise. That was something, the tone of this, they captured so fucking well the fear that these people felt and the helplessness. It translated so well. Like, everybody, they fucking knocked it out. Like, what they set out to do, what they set out to achieve, I believe they did. I'm sure this is divisive. I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure it's divisive because this is real people we're talking about. This is Jeffrey Dahmer. It's not Jason Voorhees. There's a big fucking difference. Speaking of things I didn't know, the whole 1994 solar eclipse on May 10th was the same day that John Wayne Gacy got the lethal injection, and also Dahmer was baptized. I didn't know that. That's fucking nuts. That's brutal. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, whoa, wait a second. My buddy that was watching it with me was like, did that shit really happen? And I just was like, yeah, for sure. It has to. Like, why the fuck would they make that up? I looked into it afterwards, obviously, and that's pretty... Dude, that's fucking crazy, right? Okay, because I'm just... That's gnarly. The flashes they did, that, you know, seeing bits of John Wayne Gacy, seeing bits of, like, Ed Gein and stuff, that was fucking kind of cool. I like how they did that. Thumbs up for that. That was cool as shit. Now, I don't know if this was done on purpose, or I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like there were certain scenes and stuff throughout this where... Did Evan Peters not, like, channel a little bit of Christian Bale from American Psycho? I don't know what it was. Maybe it wasn't even just him. There was something that kept kind of ringing that American Psycho bell in my head, and I'm not sure exactly what that was. Not sure. I might be alone there. I just thought I'd mention it because there was a few moments throughout where it reminded me of American Psycho and a little bit of Christian Bale. So it's so interesting because they managed to do, you know, sort of the impossible, where, you know, they humanize this evil person and all these terrible fucking things he did. Obviously no excuse for them. But knowing that clearly something was broken in this guy, there's a sadness there that's not just for the victims. There is a sadness there for his story and how he turned out, in a sense. Obviously nothing compared to what the victims and their families went through and continue to go through, I'm sure. It's just interesting to know how fragile humans are, that somewhere along the way, something in him broke and he became this monster. And I feel like they really captured that essence, that sort of showing us that fragile human nature. I really appreciated it. It came off, I think it came off great. The end, you know, it definitely left you, like, thinking. Dude, they really fucking knocked it out of the park. And I just gotta say, you know, Evan Peters as Jeff and Richard Jenkins as Lionel, were just so good. So good. But I gotta say, Niecy Nash, who played Glenda Cleveland, definitely, I think, my favorite performance out of this. It just felt so real. But I mean, a lot of Richard Jenkins, you know, what he did, it was, damn, dude, you know, the emotion that he channeled as well was just, I mean, both of them, those two are probably, like, standout in this. Evan Peters is always good, of course, but holy shit. Those two performances, yeah, those are gonna stick with me. So fucking bravo, I guess. I don't know. It was fucking sweet. I know I'm kind of all over the place, a little scattered, but I normally don't review things. I just had to get my thoughts out on this series. I had to talk about it. It's just, it was definitely an experience, and it was something that I just wanted to talk about. All I know is that if you haven't seen this series, if you were on the fence, just give it a shot, because I do believe that they delivered something different and unique to this. I think it's definitely worth a watch. 100%. You should watch it. And if you did already see it, how did you feel about it? Let me know down below so we can talk about it. Don't forget to stab the like button, /subscribe, and gut the bell notification. I'll see you later.